She was 23 years old. She was walking with her toddler son on Wimbledon Common on a summer morning in July 1992. It was the kind of bright, ordinary day that people don't think twice about. She never came home. Rachel Nickell was stabbed 49 times in front of her 2-year-old boy, Alex. He was found clinging to her body by a dog walker. When police arrived, Alex was trying to wake her up. The murder horrified Britain in a way few cases ever had. Wimbledon Common was a public park in broad daylight. The randomness of it, the idea that something so savage could happen to someone so clearly innocent in such an ordinary place, broke something in the public's sense of safety. Scotland Yard came under enormous pressure to make an arrest. And they did. Just not in the way justice is supposed to work. Detectives became convinced that a local man named Colin Stagg was responsible. He had been seen on the Common regularly. He fit a psychological profile, and he was socially awkward in ways that made investigators uncomfortable. But there was no physical evidence linking him to the murder. None. So they tried something that would later be described as one of the most controversial operations in British policing history. An undercover female officer named Lizzie James was deployed to befriend Stagg. Over months of letters and meetings, she gradually built a romantic relationship with him, all while encouraging him to confess. She hinted that she had dark sexual fantasies. She implied she could only be with someone who had done something terrible. Stagg never confessed. He repeatedly denied killing Rachel, but the prosecution tried to use the correspondence itself as evidence of a violent personality. The judge threw the case out. He called the undercover operation an attempt to incriminate a suspect by deception, and said the evidence was so reprehensible it could not be put before a jury. Colin Stagg had spent 14 months in prison for a crime he did not commit. The real killer was Robert Napper. Napper had a history of violence so severe that it had been flagged to police more than once before Rachel's murder. He was later convicted of manslaughter for killing Rachel Nickell, alongside the brutal murder of Samantha Bissett and her 4-year-old daughter Jasmine in 1993. The question that haunts this case is not who did it. It's what might have been different if those early warnings about Napper had been acted upon, if investigators had followed evidence instead of assumptions, if a young woman and a little girl might still be alive. Colin Stagg was awarded compensation and a full public apology from the Metropolitan Police. He has spent decades trying to rebuild a life after being publicly named as a murderer. Alex Nickell, the toddler who held his mother's hand on Wimbledon Common that morning, is now in his mid-30s. He has spoken publicly about the case and the lifelong weight of that morning. Some murders leave a mark on a country's understanding of itself. The murder of Rachel Nickell is one of them. Not just because of the horror of what happened, but because of everything that went wrong in the years that followed. And because it took so long for her to get justice, and so much longer for the truth to reach the people who needed it most.